Hey everybody, Drew McLellan here from Agency Management Institute. This week, like all weeks, I get to talk to agency owners every day. And as always, they had a lot of questions. So this week, some of the questions I got asked were, hey, what project management software are agency owners loving right now? 2, how are agencies adding razzle dazzle to their biz dev decks because they are presenting virtually for the most part? So how are they adding some sizzle to the steak when they can't be in person? And 3, how are other agencies handling writing a rules of engagement document that they use to help clients during the onboarding process? And today, the question I'm going to answer is, how are agencies adding razzle dazzle to their biz dev decks? All right, so many of you are still presenting primarily through Zoom or Teams or whatever tool you're using, but many of you are not in a conference room presenting to prospects or to clients right now. And so a lot of you are looking for ways that you can add some extra sizzle to the work that you're doing. And some of the ways agencies are doing that, one of the most powerful ways agencies are doing that is that they are spending a lot more time talking about the insights that they have that led them to whatever proposal they're making. So they are really spending more time engaging the client. This is a human truth. The thing we find most fascinating is when people talk to us about us, or we get to talk about ourselves. And so agencies have always struggled with this. But in a virtual environment, when you are fighting extra hard to get someone's attention and keep their attention, talking about them disproportionately, even more than you would do in a live presentation, is one of the ways to make that work. So agencies are doing that. Another thing that agencies are doing is that they are being very mindful of the tools they use. So they are combining some technologies to allow them, for example, to show both the speaker and the PowerPoint deck while they're presenting. So they're using eCam or tools like that that allow them not to be invisible so that all the folks have to watch is a deck, but that they are still engaging and making eye contact with the person presenting. Another thing they're doing is they're adding some theater to their presentation, whether it's music or animations. Be careful though when you do that. Make sure that whatever you do, it's easy for your client to pass on to somebody in the C-suite or somebody who may not have been a part of the presentation. So you're going to want to make sure you build the deck in a way that is sort of technology agnostic and that they can easily replay your deck or share your deck without tech problems. Probably the best thing that agencies are doing is they are doing what I would call a video mood board. So for many of us who grew up in the business, and especially if you did brand work, a lot of times we would develop and still develop mood boards for clients, and that would show them images and colors, and maybe it might even be typography. They would all capture the mood of what we were trying to accomplish. But many savvy agencies are taking that one step further, and they are doing something like a video mood board. So they are combining video images with some great inspirational, I guess inspiring and inspirational is kind of the same, isn't it? Inspiring and emotional music to get sort of under the skin of the people watching their video and to really show them the emotion that they're suggesting that their brand or the campaign could evoke. Another thing people are doing with video is they are doing man on the street interviews or other things just to try and bring some three-dimensional sound and sight and music all to their decks. A combination of these will make your presentation stand out. So, and don't forget, when you are pitching virtually, it does not mean that you should forget what I call the goodnight kiss. And what that means is, what are your recipients? What are the prospects? What are your clients? If you're pitching something big that's worth, hundreds of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars to your agency, how do you end that sort of communication with the goodnight kiss. And what that looks like is within a few hours of your presentation being done, what are they going to receive from you, a physical, tangible thing that sort of is the sweetener, that sort of reminds them how much you want the business or how much you want this project. And I've seen agencies do some incredibly creative things with their goodnight kiss. So turn on your creative juices, figure out what you could still send despite the fact that people are social distancing and all of that. This is going to take more time to plan because you've got to get, in some cases, people's home addresses or permission to get it to them a couple days early at the office and ask someone at the office to distribute it to them at their homes if they're not back in the office. But do not forget the goodnight kiss. All right. Hopefully that gave you some ideas of things you can do to put a little razzle dazzle into your virtual pitches. I'll talk to you next week.